Hi there, everybody. This is Mark Brownlee, running for House District 34 here in the state of Colorado for the state legislature. Now, I'm a Bromley by relation to Emmett Bromley, one of the founders of Adams County. Since 1877, that's when he moved to the state. Uh, I'm related by blood. I was born in Denver, Colorado. My family line comes from the same family line that descends from Luke Bromley, who entered in through New York. And my part of the family was up in Connecticut and Rhode Island, up in that area. And they came out across to the west. And I think the original Bromleys here in Colorado came from Luke Bromley from New York to Colorado. So that's the two blood relation bloodlines. And if you want to look that up, you can. It's actually with Viola Bromley. She wrote the Bromley book. And then there's Eon Bromley, and he takes us all the way back to the Domesday Books of the Norman invasion of England back in 1066. So there's a little bit of history of the Bromley legacy here in the state of Colorado. And I want to get onto this issue right here that we're talking about Leidy telling more lies and being dishonest in her activities and in her craziness on city council. We're talking about a Colorado community media page from the North Glen Thornton Sentinel, written by Jane Reuter. You know, it's interesting. Jane Reuter knows my email. She sent me emails before, and she knows that I always communicate with her. So it's strange that she did not actually talk to me over this thing and ask me to give a statement or something like that through the email. Normally I do. And she didn't even contact me. So I actually believe this is 100% partisan politics, paid for and bought by the Democrat agenda of a hostile um, agenda just aimed at me, the George Floyd of North Glen. Now, I guess this whole thing is asking why people, why I tell people that. Well, it was on my website. I made it very clear why I do that, and it's because of a lot of similarities between me and George Floyd and our backstories, and basically the poverty that we experienced, the difficulties we have experienced with our families, the difficulties that we've experienced with police harassment, constant police harassment. We have even commonality in jobs that we went and got and searched for and looked for. Uh, Mostly it's just security jobs. He did more civilian security jobs. I did more government security jobs. But they are security jobs and they're one and the same because their whole entire purpose is to enforce rules and regulations that are actually legislated. And so yeah, it's all a form of law enforcement to some degree. And everything that I'm talking about is always true. I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to make up anything. The thing is, Lady is a racist. Lady hates us, hates people like me. She hates the poor. She's attacked the poor. She's attacked the disadvantaged. She's done this in office multiple times. And I'm one of those victims that she attacks all the time. And this is why I started saying that I am the George Floyd of North Glen because of the attacks that Lady through the city council and Brown through the city council and Manager Geyer as the city manager using the employees to attack me. You know, I started running because of these problems, these crime problems that keep happening. They're organized crime. And I traced it right to the city council itself and the city management of the city of North Glen. Organized crime in our government is the reason why I started running for office. They destroyed my property, they ripped me off, and they've done it for many, many years. The last property that they stole from me happened in 2021 because of Leidy, directly because of Leidy, because of her. I was given paperwork, documentation by the city of Northglenn with her name on it, stating why that was happening. So here she is. Leidy has been victimizing people and attacking people with a hate agenda, with a partisan Democrat Party hate agenda. And we see a lot of this in the paperwork that the Democrats send out during their election season. Bad mouthing, lying about people, accusing Christians, Muslims, maybe even Jewish people of anti Semitism. And we all read from the same Bible. And then they wanted to try to turn that into a nitpick what parts of the Bible we're reading. It's the Old Testament, it's the Torah, it's part of all of our religions. Uh, so, yeah, we can't be anti Semitic because we all believe in the same Bible. But this is some of the racism and discrimination and religious persecution that Leidy's guilty of. She's done a lot of racism, a lot of hatred, a lot of persecution, and a lot of oppression. And she does it on the city council, and she's allowed Becky Brown to do the same nonsense, falsely accuse residents when they're not even doing anything wrong. Let's get into this little story here by the Northland Thornton Sentinel newspaper. Yeah, they got a little pretty picture there. Yeah, I look pretty good actually. I'm looking a little old. Yeah, well, I'm getting up there in years. Yeah, yeah. If I wasn't so poor, I'd be in better shape. Yeah, I would. Now, that's my Navy ball cap from the USS Independence right there. That's the decommissioned crew back in 1998 over in Bremerton. That's where that is. And basically, yeah, that's the decommission hat because I wanted to decom the toxicity on our city council. That's why I brought it there. That's why I wanted people to see that. And that's me with my American flag. Joanne Winholds gave me that flag right there, and I'm wearing it just to show it off. And then I got my little Republican pin right there underneath there. I probably won't be wearing that anymore because I went unaffiliated. And there's a reason for that. Leidy had Underwood, Rollison, Saramento, Audrey Herman, and Winkler pretty much working for the Democrat platform within the Republican Party. I got told by Underwood that they were working for her back in 2020. Yeah, 2020. That's when I got told about it. And from Underwood. And that's when Underwood and Rollison were trying to be my wanting to work with me and stuff like that. But they gave me this little piece of paper demanding $1,000, and there was no guarantee that I was going to raise that money or anything like that. They just wanted to take advantage of me. So I gave them a different contract that was a performance-based contract, and they tore it up because they didn't want to have a performance contract to say that if you perform well enough and I get the donations that I need, then you're going to get plenty of money. And that's what I told them. And but they weren't going to raise the money that I needed. They weren't going to help me with the funding. And so they're putting all the work all on me. And it's like, well, then why are you guys calling me saying that you're a consultant firm if you have nothing to offer? If you're not really offering me any help, you're just ripping me off. And again, in 2020, we've seen this happen with Tim Long. He also got ripped off by him. And it just continues to go that way. He's not the only one. I bet they took advantage of other people as well, because they always do, because they never win. None of their candidates win. They undermine them. I mean, to undermine me, they have to create these news articles. And that's how the Democrats want to undermine my efforts, is by creating these false news articles. These, yeah, these are fraudulent statements. And I don't know why Jane Reuter got involved in this kind of dishonesty. Now, here's the newly reelected Mayor Lady, the first paragraph. Okay, what is she? Okay, she's complaining me about me describing myself as George Floyd of Northland. You know, I read about George Floyd. I studied some of the stuff about George Floyd because I actually really truly feel that me and George Floyd are like two peas in a pod. We have quite a bit of similarity in our background and in our life story. And I think if we actually met each other, if me and George Floyd actually met each other, we would have got along just fine. We would have been good friends, especially in the Navy, because I have a lot of I knew uh, a lot of guys in the Navy. We would go out and hang out at the Soul Bar over in there in Japan and stuff like that, and we did that quite a bit. So yeah. If I ran into George Floyd earlier in life, yeah, we would have probably been good friends because our backgrounds are quite similar and quite legit, actually, as a matter of fact. Even the police harassment, down to the police harassment. eh, yes, I've experienced that quite a bit ever since I was 4 years old here in the city of Northland. A lot of police harassment. Lighty probably doesn't know because she never actually tried to talk to me like a human being. She's never done that. The only thing that she's ever done is have hate because that's what her party tells her people to do. Hate people. Julie Malik is like that too. Lori Goldstein's like that too. It's just hate. It's all they do, just throw hate. I think it's their whole party. I think their whole party was told to hate anybody that objects to what they're saying. Now that's disgusting to have that much hate because somebody on the other side doesn't think the way that you do. That's wrong. And that's why Lady is the most unfit mayor for the city of Northland ever in the history of Northland. The most unfit because she's psychotic. And she's sitting there, never getting to know anybody. I mean, the very first day I met her, she didn't want to know me. She just wanted to blow people off and hate them. She didn't even know who I was. Nothing. She didn't even know that I'm actually uh, part of the bloodline of the founders of Adams County. She doesn't even know who Emmett Ayers Bromley is. It has a big history. It's like she knows who Mother Cabrini is, but she doesn't realize that Emmett Ayers Bromley and Mother Cabrini, they both met. And when they did meet, they created Columbus Day to bring the Italian community out of the most oppressive working conditions in the state of Colorado. That's why it was created. Christopher Columbus is a great hero. But yet we have a political party so far left called the cult of the far left, the cult of the woke, that are lying about a great hero. And I've asked several people in that Democrat Party to prove that they could have done what Christopher Columbus did. Christopher Columbus opened up the Americas to European colonization. All the nations from the tip of Argentina all the way up to the north of Canada, on the both the North and South Americans and the Mesoamerican continents, two continents, owe their existence to Christopher Columbus because they're all based on European government. Now, the reason why I tell you about the Bromleys being in the Doomsday Book is because the Doomsday Books are two books, Greater, Lesser, and they were written uh, in England when to figure out all the lands, the taxes, and everything else. They were basically a book of surveying land, basically, trying to understand who was all out there. And that was the invasion from Normandy into England in 1066. And that's what these books actually chronicle. And it's the same thing. All over the world, it's the same thing. People have to expand, and they will, and they'll do what needs to be done in order to live and survive. And what Christopher Columbus did was good. There is nobody else in this world that can say that they were as successful as Christopher Columbus. I mean, geez, he got 3 ships from Spain, from the leaders of the royalty of Spain. How many of you guys could say that you could have done the same thing? Not many. Not many of us could do that. And that's what makes him a great leader, great person. Christopher Columbus is a good person, simply put. But anyways, we're talking about this article right here. The next line, we're talking about, okay, yes, I am a lifelong resident of Northland. And yes, I did challenge a lady for the November election. And now I didn't challenge Tim Long. I already challenged Leidy. My paperwork was already done. It was just me and her. But Tim Long was a tool. He was a tool being used by the Democrat platform through the Republican platform to ensure Leidy gets all of her votes. They wanted to divide my votes. They did it back in 2019, and they did it again in 2020. They did it again 2019, 2021, and they keep doing this. This is basically, me against the whole entire Democrat Party itself. It's been like this. It's brutal. It's worse than being choked by a choked like George Floyd got choked. That's how bad it is. I am being choked by the Democrat Party here in Northglenn, and that's why, again, I am the George Floyd of Northglenn, because the Democrat Party is trying to choke me. They're trying to kill me, and they're trying to hurt me. I mean, after the Ward 4 meeting, I had a bottle thrown at me, a car hit me. Uh, every single election, Democrats are nuts. They just come out and they try to attack me because I ran against their candidates, and they're trying to send a message. You run against their candidates, they're going to hurt you, and that's what they want to put out there, and that's the threats I actually get from the Democrat Party. And you know what? They are representing the government, so that is the police. The leadership is the police, not the people doing the police job. Those are not the police. They may be wearing the uniform, but that's just a job. It's the leadership that's the police. The people you elect, the government management, that's your real target right there. Those are the people that are doing the things that are bad. And Leidy's trying to choke me, just like Chauvin did. Just like Chauvin did to George Floyd. But that whole story is a totally different story. That a lot of things did not get clarified in that story. And we might talk about that because this is going to get a little long, I suppose, because I'm going by paragraphs here. But no, I didn't challenge Tim Long. I was challenging only Leidy. I thought Tim Long was going to go for Ward 4. Tim Long should have gone for Ward 4. Then he would have stayed on the city council. He had a good chance of that. Instead, he wanted to divide my vote and go after me. So he did exactly what Leidy wanted him to do. What a tool. And let's see. Now, I didn't really get a total 16%. I would have been okay with a 15% right there. That's all right. I kind of expected that. That's the hostility I've been getting from the Democrat platform anyway, because they have a whole bunch of people that out there just undermining my efforts. Like I said, I ran against the whole entire city council for 2 years so far, about 2 or 3 years. So, okay, that's great. I've been running against them all the time. Now, here we go, next paragraph. Okay, we're leading up to the election here. And yes, I did criticize the city's budget being misspent and misdirected. There is like $600,000 that was used specifically just for parties. All those parties is the Democrat platform advertising its platform. And they did it for the whole year. So that's actually taxpayer money that's buying election in Northglenn, and it's $600,000 for parties in the park. They bought banners, flags, tramp stamps, those little sign placements on the sidewalk to put out their message. They're cult of the far left. They're cults of the woke. And these are cults. These are not, these are cults. This is the religion of government. And this is what they did. They put it out there as the religion of government to tell people what you're supposed to believe and what you're going to do and how you're going to believe it. Because they're with Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. They want you to own nothing and be happy about it. And so they're going to use these as tools, get your compliance by giving you your parties and your drugs. Isn't that what they're doing? You can do drugs, you can do your alcohol, you can do your parties, you can do all your crazy stuff, and they're going to keep using taxpayer money to allow you to do that. Hooray! You're going to vote for them because they're giving you what they want because they've turned it into like a college party and stuff like that. But it's worse than that. They've also created bureaucracy. They created the Dice Board, the CRU, the Next Committee, and then they started funding a bunch of art programs that pay very lucrative to only Democrat orientated individuals. It's very partisan, and that's exactly what they've been doing. And they also use their tax-paying money just to pay Democrat-owned businesses. Those businesses will give a portion of that tax money to the Democrat Party to run their candidates. So this is all good because now it's the Democrat businesses getting money from the city. It's the Democrat voters getting money from the city. It's the Democrat voters also getting bureaucratic jobs in the government, in the religion of government, uh, that they're spending our tax-paying money on. And she is fattening up the government right there. And she's always doing that. And it's misdirected money. It's misspent. And it is basically fraud, waste, and abuse. And that's what she's doing with it. Because what is the dice board doing? The dice board is directing hate at anybody who does not believe in their political party's values. So the dice board is a Democrat Party agenda only. It is racist, it is discriminatory, it is a cult. And that's exactly what it is. And that was the attack on Tim Long and Timothy Walker on the city council. That's what that was the attack. That was leveled against him. And again, through these activities and these misspent activities, I'm still the George Floyd because I'm still being attacked by the government because they're telling their people at these things. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get that. There's another part of this. You got to see it. It's even funnier. All right. Now here's George Floyd was a black man murdered by a white police officer in Minneapolis in May of 2020. Actually, it wouldn't mattered if it was a black man or a white man. It wouldn't matter either way. Uh, there was a problem. There was an altercation that took place. The police were called. The police responded to the problem. Uh, Unfortunately for George Floyd, apparently they said that he was on some kind of drugs and stuff like that, and it wasn't necessarily the uh, the police action that necessarily actually ended his life. It was basically they were saying that it was the drugs that were in his system that actually caused that to happen. When police go in there, they don't know what's really going on. They're just taking control of a situation most times. I've been involved with the police a lot. When they attack me for just out of the blue. Here in Northglenn, they've done that quite a bit. I mean, I was only like about I don't know, 12 to 15 years old. Uh, One of the police officers came over to my Northglenn police officer came to my door, pounded on the door, I answered because I never actually had a policeman actually come over to my house for a while and stuff like that. And anyways, he wants me to come outside, so I came outside. I was standing on the ledge of the first step outside, and then didn't like that, so he told me to come outside again. I came outside. I'm out actually on the front porch now, only an arm length away from him. And he tells me a third time screaming, and this is the third time he's screaming at me, yelling at me, and I'm already outside, and he says to come outside again. And I told him I am outside. And then he grabs me and throws me across the yard. That's the first police brutality and harassment that I had, and I was only a little kid. That's child abuse from the Northland police officer. It turns out he had no reason to be there. He got some bug up his ass and he came over to my house and then he attacked me right there. A kid. When I was a kid, he just attacked me. And that is the Northland police. They do that quite a bit, or they were doing that quite a bit back then. And there's stories about it all the time. I mean, I would get harassed because somebody else's dog escaped and I was looking for it. You know, I used to help neighbors look for their dogs and stuff like that when they go running off. And they would harass me about that. I'd be walking down the street. They would stop me and harass me about that. Just walking down the street. I'd be walking home. I'd be cutting through the park. And then they would stop me again and harass me some more. Uh, there was a lot of police harassment going on here in Northland with me and stuff involved, and it went on for decades. I mean, when Mayor Dodge was in office, the police literally came over to my house. Um, they snuck around my house. They were spying through the windows, and then they pounded on the window of the side of the house, not the door. They could have simply knocked on the door, rang the doorbell. I would have answered, no big deal. But they pounded on the side window on the side of the house loud enough that if they hit it a little harder, it could have broke. They might have broken the glass. They could have done that. But it was pretty disturbing, and they wanted me to come out, so I came out. I was wearing my pajamas, a t-shirt, and some slacks that were kind of loose, and they sat there and had me go out there. They put handcuffs on me right away, right off the bat. And then they started searching me, and they practically strip searched me. The officer was Tran, that was her name, and she almost pulled down my pants because I got some cold air on my butt. And anyways, so yeah, practically strip searched in my front yard, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out what's going on here. They're trying to put me in a patrol car. One police officer is going to try to drive off with me in a patrol car. I'm getting scared because these police officers all had their hands on their guns. They're all getting ready to shoot me down or something like that. And they're going to put me in a police car, probably drive me off to the north here and just drop me off in the field and shoot me or something like that, execution style. Um, Now, leading up to that, there was a car spying on my house every single day for about a week. They would park there and watch my TV up through the upstairs window over on the corner right there on Huron on 118th. They'd just sit right there and actually look at the whatever I was watching on TV, probably HBO, like that Games of Thrones, where that they have some of that sodry stuff that shows up. Yeah, I guess to criticize what I was watching. Whatever it is, I don't know. But eventually, they broke down and they told me why they were trying to arrest me. And they said that I stabbed somebody with a knife. And I'm like, going, really? Where's the body? Where's the knife? Where's the blood? What are you guys talking about? Yeah, they just made it up. And you know what that is? You know why they were probably there? They were probably there because they knew that I didn't really do a whole lot of stuff and I was by myself, alone. Uh, Creating an alibi for myself would have been very difficult because I'm by myself at that time. I'm alone. So they're looking for me to be a patsy for some kind of crime that probably some official or some high-ranking individual that probably in the city government or maybe in the city management have their kids. They're running around town causing problems, and they get into trouble, and then they have to try to figure out a way to cover up for them. How do you think they do that? Well, they find patsies. They find people that are home alone that don't have alibis, and then that's how you get people falsely arrested, falsely jailed, and that's what happens. And that's one of those situations. And I talked to Downing about that, and she just totally blew that off. She didn't care uh, one way or another. So they knew about it. They knew about it because I sent the emails about that. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. And that didn't stop there. Again, I run for political office, and Lydie over here, she sends out code enforcement to harass people, targeting me, specifically targeting me and my property and stuff like that. So they basically stole my property from me and forced me to lose my property. So I've lost value of my property. I've lost money because of this person, this bitch, complaining about me on the city council there. And basically, it's a Karen meme trope right there. Hmm. And that's what it is. And yeah, and it didn't stop there. It continued on through the 2021 election. The whole entire Democrat Party and the whole entire city council and all the Democrats in the city management of the city of Northglenn all attacked me during 2021. And then they sent out that code enforcement guy again. Uh, and he's just a nasty individual. I don't even know why he's on the payroll. He just wants to be nasty and mean. And anyways, they sent him out, and he's attacking my yard sign. He's attacking my voters, and and it's over my yard signs. So they're targeting my yard signs. But you know what? Julie Malika was in violation of several yard sign rules themselves. They put up signs left and right that were illegal. Whitey does that all the time too. She puts up her yard signs illegally too. But you know what? They never say anything about that. Oh, if it's a Democrat doing crime, oh, they say nothing about that. But because it's me and I'm running against them, oh yeah, I'm the one I'm automatically the bad guy. Uh-huh. So they send out the police after me. So that's police harassment again, just like George Floyd. And this is a history. There's an ongoing history. This is a very, very long, drawn out history here with me. And I grew up in poverty. And see, the problem is, it's not about race. It's not about race at all. It's about economic condition. Those who have always hate those that don't have. And so they attack those that don't have, those who are in poverty. And that's exactly what happens. That's why I'm the George Floyd of Northglenn, because me and George Floyd are two peas in a pod. We are the same situation. And my policeman Chauvin that's trying to choke me is called Lady. I can't breathe. And that's exactly what it is. And now she's trying to be diabolical about this. Because here we go. Now she's saying she was inspired. And what for? Because she went to Alabama. And and here we are talking about our principal of Belmar Schools Integrated Arts. Well, you know what? I've done research on her Belmar School. There's websites that actually have a chart when the school was doing good and then when it started doing really bad. The moment they hired Lady as their principal, that school went from good to the bottom third of the schools in Colorado. The reason is because of Lady's perception of things. It's a globalist view. She thinks all the children that are in her school, because they have different colors of skin, she thinks that they can't learn like normal kids. She's a racist. That's why her school is doing so bad. That's why it's always doing really bad in math, really bad in reading. It's just doing bad because she's a racist. She is treating the children less than human. She calls the dads dogs. And her school is a mess. And it's been like that for some time. Ever since she's taken over that school, it's been a mess. I talked about it in 2019. I talked about it in 2022. It was the same problems. And it's because she's a racist. She can't teach those children because she thinks that all those children are marginalized. She really thinks that that's what it is. No, they're human beings. All human beings have the same capability to learn. If you teach them, they will learn. If you give them information, they will learn. It's like my family history of the Bromley history here in Adams County. It was actually restricted to me ever since I was 4 years old, ever since the school system identified me as a Bromley. Here in North Glen, they kept history away from me. They wouldn't let me learn the local history. They didn't want me to. And eventually they closed down that library, the North Glen Library, because they wanted to keep history out of people's reach. You can read as much fiction and fantasy as you guys want. There's plenty of that around. They'll let you have that. But the actual history, the real history of Colorado, they don't want you to learn because of political nemesis within the state of Colorado. Political nemesis is the reason why they don't want you to learn anything. And this lady, she is a terrible educator, a terrible principal. The performance of her own school proves that. And because she's been here in North Glen, other schools are falling down too. At the end of the 2023 election, I went to a meeting of a class of seventh graders that were used as child slave labor for the Democrat platform during the last weeks of the election to bolster and boost voter turnout. And they were sent out with a partisan political message to advertise. They were putting signs on telephone poles, going to grocery stores. They were breaking rules left and right. They were putting up flyers. They were tracking engagement through QR codes and websites. Uh, they did a lot of work, but a third of the students called in sick because they didn't want to do the project. Another half of the students didn't do the project at all because they just didn't feel like doing the project. And then they were forced to shame themselves as they did this round table top discussion about what they did. Now, some of the students did their job and they really thought they were doing a good thing, but they're kids. Kids are easy to tell that to. I mean, I was a child slave labor type person. I was used as child slave labor in the city of North Glen when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was actually working out of a day labor place too, and they were taking about half of my paycheck just to cash the check. So yeah, child slavery is true. And even in the school system had me out there selling things for the school, and I had to sell like 100 items just to get. I had to sell 100 items just to get one of those little pencils where you twirl it and the hair falls out to the side with a googly eye thing. You know what I'm talking about? One of those pencil hairy things. Yeah, I'd have to like sell 100 items just so some adult can make money off of my work. This is actually true stuff that happens here in North Glen. And that again is why I'm actually a George Floyd as well. Because see, George Floyd was a victim of poverty conditions in the United States. Not because of his race, because of his poverty. Everybody that suffers in that kind of poverty gets treated that way. That's why I'm a George Floyd of North Glen. Because it's not about the color of skin, it's about your poverty. It's about poverty in the United States. That's what it's really all about. Because that's how we're treated by a brutal system. And Lady wants to be one of those abusers. She wants to be cruel, harmful, hurtful, and abusive. That's exactly what that is. Now, this little quote right here. But what I really left with was that my silence is tolerance. No, no. What she's actually now they stopped the quote there, so I don't know if that's exactly a quote or not, because, or if that's a typo. But either way, no, no. She just wants to attack people. So now she's trying to play like she's the victim. I'm the one that's actually George Floyd of Northglenn. I'm the one being treated like that. I'm the one that's been victimized by the city of Northglenn. That's why I'm running for city council all the time. That's why I'm not going to stop running, because I'm the one that's been attacked. I'm the one that's been hurt by the very city government of the city of Northglenn not respecting its citizens, being a bunch of Karen meme tropes. And that statement right there. But what I really left with was my silence is tolerance. No, no, that is Karen meme trope talking right there. So, hmm. So yeah, yeah, she's just on the attack. Now we scroll down here again. We have a resident who says he's George Floyd of Northglenn, and that is wrong. Yeah, actually, it's right, because identifying to people, trying to explain to people through contemporary history what it feels like to be in my shoes is the truth, and it's right to give people context. And I did say that I'm the George Floyd of Northglenn because I wanted to point that out to the hypocrisy of the Democrat platform here in Northglenn, Colorado. I really did want to point that out to you. But you're all hypocrites. You voted for a racist and you put her on the seat and you put her back in office, and she is a goddamn racist that just attacks people. Now, it's horrific, and none of us have called him out on it. It's not horrific. How I've lived and how I've been treated and how my family's experienced life here in the United States, that's horrific. It's like being in Myanmar. It's like being in the North Korea of the United States. That's how I really feel right here in the city of Northglenn. That this is North Korea. This isn't Northglenn, this is North Korea. That's what this place is to me. That's what it feels like to me. And what's the lady? She's the Mao Zedong. She's Kim Jong Il. She's Xi Jinping. That's what she symbolizes to me. That she wants to be your God and she wants you to worship her and her religion of government. And that's what she wants. You know what happened to Mao Zedong? He died in 1976 on my birthday. I can't think of a better birthday present. You know why he invaded Tibet? Because the Dalai Lama's Buddhism was taking over his religion of government in China. And that's why he attacked Tibet. Because he could not tolerate another religion being better than his religion of government, which was communism and socialism. The religion of socialism, the religion of communism, all fiction. And uh, and that's why they attacked Tibet. But what's the Dalai Lama? The Dalai Lama is a man who refused and rejected war and survived. He lost his country in the process. And still, to this day, the bigger statue is Buddhism in China. That's the bigger statue. I say the bigger statue because if you ever seen that movie Bahubali, where he grabs the rope and pulls up the statue of the king who wanted to be a god, he saves thousands of lives by stopping that statue from falling on him. And after they get the statue in place, they start shouting Bahubali because his statue is bigger than the emperor's statue because the people still remember somebody greater, somebody better. And that was Bahubali. And yeah, I watch those kind of things. I like those kind of shows. Anyways, yeah, there's nothing horrifying about it. It's how I'm living here in Northglenn is horrifying. It's truly terrible. It's like living in North Korea. That's how I'm being treated by this city council and this city management and their religion of government. And she says it right here. She says her racism right here. A white man. Uh, I'm kind of flattered that they decided to make me the white alpha male of North Glen. But I've never really been an alpha male before and stuff like that. I've never been so popular. Uh, wow. I am the white man of North Glen. Ooh. Kind of nuts. That's how insane she is. Because, I am a human being. I'm an Asian father. Uh, I hang out with people of all kinds of backgrounds, and I've been doing that for my whole entire life. Now, when I was doing the raves, one of the people that I did the raves with, he was a gay DJ, and yeah, we had pretty good raves. I did a lot of artwork. I did a lot of raves, a lot of giant murals. It was great. I think I had 1,000 eyeballs of neon eyeballs that got stolen from clubs like Ground Zero, the Marquee, Rock Island, uh, Modine's, things like that. Yeah, yeah, they got ripped off. And the people that danced on those dance floor and pulled them down, they loved my eyeballs. They went nuts for them. Anyways, good for me. Anyway, anyways, here it is, and she's all upset about that. She just wants to make this about race. She is a racist. Lady is a total racist, and he's not the George Floyd of North Glen. And it's offensive that he says that. I'm gonna have to make fun of that because it's true. I am the George Floyd of North Glen. I am the George Floyd of North Glen, and I'm being treated like that by terrible dictatorship on the city government. You voted the wrong person into office. She is brutal. She is cruel. She's hateful. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of people that identify as a lot of different things. I mean, if you guys seen my brother in the first Star Trek convention here at the North Glen Mall, he identified as a cat. Yeah, people can do that. Yeah, there's guys, there's men identifying as women. There's women identifying as men. She's not offended by any of that. Whoa. I think you guys might want to question that a little bit closer because I don't think she likes you guys. If she doesn't like me, she doesn't like you. And the history of Bromley, Emmett Bromley. Emmett Bromley was considered quite liberal. He was both with the Republicans, he was with the Democrats, he was unaffiliated. I'm unaffiliated now too, so I kind of actually repeat the same history, running for House District 34 here, and it's all kind of great. And let's see, Bromley was not at the meeting. I'm not paid to be there. I'm not paid to be at that meeting. I don't have to be at that meeting. There's no reason that I needed to be at that meeting in the first place. I was there online though, so I guess I was kind of at the meeting in spirit at any rate, because they got upset about the little chat box. You can chats in the chat box, and I said it's true. I am the George Floyd of North Glen. You've attacked me in many ways. There's been a lot of harassment, law enforcement attacks. The city manager gives me nasty grams all the time. They stole my artwork back in over the last 2023 election. They saw my I Heart N logo for my election run in North Glen, and they stole it and put it on their own handbags. And then they lied about it, and they gave me a couple different stories because they couldn't get their story straight. All I wanted to see is when they had the meeting to approve those handbags, when they spent the money, where the finances, how much they spent on those bags were, and who's the artist? Who's the artist that they actually used to do it? And then I suspect it's actually Brown because she's on the neuro board and she actually had been very livid and stuff like that, and dishonest in her lying about me on a constant regular basis, just like Lighty here lying about me too. And anyways, yeah, and Lady just wants to keep attacking George Floyd. She wants to choke me. She wants to kill me. She wants me dead. She wants me dead. She wants me hurt. She wants injury and stuff like that. I have no ill will against Lydie, by the way. I'm not that kind of person. Because she never bothered to get to know me. If she did, she'd know that I'm not that kind of person, and she would have been a nicer person towards me. But she's not. She's just a terrible person. She's just nasty, and that's just the way she is. Just nasty. She wants to escalate this. She wants to keep escalating this, and that's the problem right there. She wants to create much ado about nothing, and she's just a big baby, really. Yeah, yeah, and that's what she's doing. And it's not about skin color. It's about poverty. It's all about poverty. People in poverty get attacked like this. Get attacked like I do. Yeah, yeah. Bullies and Nazis flock together, and that's been the city council. Yeah, they've been like that. Leidy and Brown, two Nazis. Uh, at one point during the election, I already seen one of them as a Hitler and another one as a Mussolini. You decide. You decide. I'll let you guys decide that one yourselves. But that's what I decided that they are. And they are kind of like that. This whole article just reads of that, and it's getting long. Yeah, yeah. I'm a writer. I've written 3 books, and actually, I'm writing a couple other books too. I'm trying to do my other book, my other stories as well. And I'm trying to put this thing down because I also have several possible legislations I want to put through the House. One of them is to keep children from being used as slave labor uh, for adult elections. Yeah, they have to be adults to be involved in adult elections. And that sounds like a pretty good thing right there because they should not be going to the schools and using the socialist teachers, social studies teachers as the tool, as their moniker for getting a whole bunch of child slave labor out of seventh graders to go and petition and flyer the town red for them. They shouldn't be doing that, and that's just bad. And this is what bothers me about Jane Reuters here. She says, who claims he served in the U.S. Navy. She doubts me? The very first picture has my ball cap from the USS Independence on it. That's the DECOM crew. That's the first ship. Then I was on the Kitty Hawk after that one. And it was forward deployed over in Japan, over in Yokosuka. We went to the Middle East. That's where I got my combat medal on my chest, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal. And yeah, that was for Operation Southern Watch. Then I was over there a couple more times. I actually had several back-to-back uh, sea duty tours, and it was just hellacious in that area. It's hot. It's miserable. It's an awful place to be on an aircraft carrier. And I worked on the flight deck. It's a dangerous place. It's a hazardous duty zone. It's kind of like a war zone. That they consider it a war zone. Up there, they call it hazardous duty. You get hazardous duty pay for it. And if Jane Reuters was actually any good at being a reporter, she would have verified that information before trying to say that I lied about my military service. Jane Reuters, I am a honorable service military veteran. Give me the goddamn respect that I've earned. You can't do it. Stop doing your goddamn lies. Because I know I've earned it. I've shed blood for this country. How about you? Have you ever done anything like that? You better give you better give veterans respect because you should never doubt our service. It saved your ass more times than you know. Anyways, now I ran for several offices in the past, yeah, because I'm tired of the system being so corrupt and criminal, so abusive, so many dishonest politicians like Leidy and Brown and other politicians that are with the Democrat Party, just monsters. That's all they really are. And they don't have any place there. I mean, did you see that thing from Skinny Winkler? Did you see his actual contribution to the state legislator office? One really stupid bill. One really stupid bill, and he thinks he's better than me. And his bill is garbage. The one bill that he wanted to push, total freaking garbage. And that's one of the main reasons I'm no longer with the Republican Party, because I don't think I need to throw myself in with that kind of garbage, like Winkler, Rollison, or Underwood, or even Cynthia Saramanto, or even Leidy for that matter, because that's who they said that they work for. They work for her. So yeah, yeah, if they can't be honest to their voters, yeah, there's no need for that. There's no need for me to be with them. So I'm unaffiliated. I guess I am liberal. Because after all, I was the one back in 2020 trying to see if there was a way that we could get the gay platform to be covered under the Republican platform. They wouldn't do it. They didn't want to do it. They hated it. And I kept saying, yeah, but my brother, he's part of the gay community and stuff like that. So, yeah, you can't hate these people. You can't do that. And that's what I kept telling them. And, now I can be me. I can be unaffiliated me. I don't have to try to work with their policies anymore. Uh, I tried working with their policies, but let's say, it's not helping me get elected. So yeah, forget it. Why should I stick with a policy that's not helping? I am still conservative. Don't get me wrong and stuff like that, but I'm sensible. I can be talked to. I can be reasoned with. So yeah, but you guys are right. Currently, right now, if it wasn't for the Democrat Party controlling the Republican Party too, maybe things would have went better, but it didn't. So I guess I'm just going to be following Emmett Ayers Bromley and just going to go unaffiliated, be my own person. That's what I'm running on. And I think you guys are going to find out it's a little bit better and stuff like that. And, trying to get deprogrammed from these far left, far right cults. That's what they are. They're cults. And that was my one thing about public school's supposed to be a good thing. It's not supposed to be a bad thing. And one of the scariest thing, if you're not actually having your children going to school and stuff like that, and you're trying to do it behind closed doors, is the possibility of cults. And I worked for some time in Japan dealing with the Asahara cults on patrol. Uh, being watching out for possible sarin attack gas kind of situations. That was part of my training to be aware of it, the Asahara cults. And not only that, there was a couple of other cults here. David Koresh's cult. There was that Unabomber guy. There was that Oklahoma City bomber. That happened just a few days before I started my career in the Navy and stuff like that. And that's what that is. All right. So there you go, Jane Reuters. Now you understand. I'm a veteran. I was in the military. Enough said. Stop with your disinformation tactics. Stop with your lies. Stop with your dishonesty. You can still contact me, but you need to clean up your work. Don't attack veterans. Don't be hateful. Then, okay, after that, 2023 was his second attempt at gaining mayor's seat. Well, there'll probably be a third time. Who knows? He ran and okay, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I did win that. I did win the State House 34 because I do side with the Republican platform. At least the national platform that was actually somewhat humane until it's become somewhat weird now because of current uh, weirdness going on within the political parties where they can't get their message straight. My message is straight. My message is fine. My platform is great. My principles are perfect. And that's why I should be elected to the state legislature. I'm the legacy. 140 years since a Bromley's been in the state legislature, and I think you guys should vote for me. Put me back in the state legislature. I have some legislative things I want to get taken care of. A lot of this has to do with making sure that uh, like the adult age of consent to be a valid volunteer for government elections, which are adult in the first place, and yeah, I'm making sure that the workers have a right to unionize, even government workers, and not to be tied to a physical government place, but to actually have an address to themselves. So, and if they have to go on strike, they don't have to cross that strike line to get into their own office to actually do business and stuff like that they have to take care of. Anyways, also the Stability of Longevity of Income Act. I want to create stable jobs, stable incomes to bring people out of poverty. So we have equality in Colorado and in the United States. Uh, Restorative Housing Act. I want to make sure that we can ensure that everybody, no matter their income, has housing that is acceptable, that meets human requirements, and that is not substandard and is not harmful or destructive. That's one of those things. I want to replace the Gallagher Act so we don't have to keep running into these last minute sessions trying to fix property taxes because Polis has us all worried about what our taxes are going to look like every single year, and it's getting insane. And I think if we replace the Gallagher Act, we can actually fix that. And see, a lot of people down at our legislature, and this is the biggest problem that we have down there, is that they don't fully realize the legislation that they're trying to overturn and destroy. They're not doing it. And that's why I'm running for office down there in the legislature, because I study history. I went to history classes under Dwayne Vandenbush. And if you know who Dwayne Vandenbush is, he's the president of the Colorado Historical Society. And it was the history dumps that he did on me that got me studying Adams County history and finding out my roots here and stuff like that and who I am and what Colorado is. And I've been studying Colorado for a long time. I even studied Colorado art history, a bunch of other histories and things like that. And, uh, that's what makes me perfect for the legislative office. Again, making laws here. Uh, Vote for Mark Bromley. Put me in office. House District 34. It's been 140 years since Bromley's been down there, and I'm the only Bromley running around from what I look like. From what I look around here, I'm the only Bromley, so I'm the only one capable of doing it because I have a clean background. SF85P approved. Perfectly clean background. I worked overseas in foreign countries, past backgrounds for, well, basically what Blinken went through to get his assignment overseas. Yeah, the same background checks. And so, yeah, there it is. And that's the type of person that I am. So, yeah, I get all this dishonesty here because all these dishonest people do anything to stay in power. That's all it is. It's okay to lose. Being able to lose and pick yourself up and continue running, that's American. While he defeated his opponent, okay. Now they're just talking about who I defeated, Audrey Herman. Okay. Uh, yeah, the Democrats sent Audrey Herman to actually run against me. They set that up. She was set up. If she doesn't know it, she was set up. And that's the sad thing about it. And yeah, the Republicans voted for me. Yeah, they like me. I like the voters, the Republican voters. I like them, but not the party, not the Adams County Party, because they put a knife in me too many times. They just keep putting a knife in the back of me every single time I run with them. They undermine my efforts. And this is the attempt of this whole thing right here too, is also to do that. Because I did leave a comment on this, but they didn't print it up. They didn't print my comment, and I left a comment on this article. They didn't do it. Anyways, we'll probably read that off and let you know about that a little bit later. Okay, then why he defeated the opponent. Okay, HD34 Central Committee, blah, blah, blah. Threats against fellow Republicans. Nope, there was only a couple of Republicans I was talking about. That was a meeting that I had with Skinny Winkler, where he was recording our whole entire meeting with Lighty on the other end of the phone, according to what he was saying, because Winkler was trying to get on the Ward 1 seat for the city council, and they were appointing people, so he was trying to do some dirty work, and that's what I was talking about. I made no threats, no such thing ever happened. They just made that up. That was a lie. And other candidates. And I did not talk to any other candidates about that either. So that's a complete lie, Jane Reuters. That's complete dishonesty right there, fabrication again. And abject failure to exhibit beliefs that are consistent with the Republican platform. Yeah, some of those platform items they were talking about were ideals and values that I don't really actually support or believe in. And that's what the Democrats believe in. And that's why I use the word Nazi to describe it. And yeah, I'm not going to go with those kind of policies and stuff like that. So I'm really against Nazis. Don't be a Nazi, and you won't get that from me. But I'm unaffiliated now, so it doesn't really matter. I can be myself. I can just do what I do. Indecent means of doing so. There was nothing indecent about what I was doing or talking about. I talked to only one person, and that was Underwood, and Underwood ended up lying about everything. You know what? I'm not actually upset that I lost to Representative Kaya Malika. Apparently, he's a pretty strong candidate. If you run against strong people, then it's good for you. If you run against weak people, then it's bad for you. And Lady's kind of weak, so I hate running against her because, yeah, it's kind of running against a weak person. Uh, Her racism is pretty obvious why she's weak. She has too many character flaws that make her just a train wreck. And but running against Representative Kyle Malika was okay. We can talk. When we run into each other, we can talk. We don't have the greatest conversations ever, but we are able to talk to each other. So as long as we're able to communicate, that's a win. That's a win. Actually, that's not too bad. That's a win. So yeah, that's not a bad thing. And 9%. Yeah, and I got there 9% against a strong candidate such as Kyle Malika, and he is pretty much he's the House Whip, isn't he? No, not the House Whip, the Senate Whip. Yeah, he's in the Senate right now, and he's their whip. So yeah, he's one of the stronger characters. So yeah, there's no shame in that. That's actually a pretty good run. Uh-huh. And yeah, I was the person that was going to run against him. If it was Audrey Herman, she would have got mopped up. He would have just mopped up the floor with her. Um, that's what would have happened right there. But he ran against me, and I gave him a pretty good run. And they had to run a third person to go against me on that one. So there it is. And since his Northland mayoral defeat, Bromley had changed his political party to unaffiliated. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Well, the point of actually running on the Republican ticket was to get votes and to get endorsements and to get resources. That's basically what it was for. And I already ran with them a number of years. Gave them a chance to make amends, to make up for it, to correct their actions, and to get in line with their leader, Mark Bromley. But they didn't want to get in line with me because, see, my leadership comes from the United States Navy. And yeah, you're not going to get in line with me. Yeah, I don't need you. You're not on my team. If you're not going to play like a team player on my team, you're not on my team. That's all there is to it. Unaffiliated. Anyways, yeah, I'm unaffiliated. Where I should belong, anyways. I'm tired of being going with that platform too much anyway. I still believe in a lot of the conservative aspects. That's actually good, but you know, there's a bigger history about my past and stuff like that. I told you about it. You heard about Emmett Ayers Bromley. He founded Adams County. He named it Adams County after Ava Adams, the first governor of Colorado, and that's how it became Adams County. Arapahoe County formed that. He was down in Denver. Uh, yeah, he was in the House and the Senate. for the state of Colorado on the state legislature. 140 years ago, he came here in 1877, and it's been about 140 years. It's been a moment that Bromley's been on the House and the Senate for the state of Colorado, and it's just time that I take my seat where I belong in the House and the Senate. And that's where it is. I already have some bills. Those are minor bills, about 6 bills right there I got coming up. Uh, I have to leave the other 6 bills open because, they want other people to sign on to their bills and stuff like that. And, I could work with Kyle Malika. I've talked with him a few times. I can understand his reasoning and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, that was a good race. That was a good race back in 2020. It was actually pretty good. He did do a little name calling. He did do a little bit of hate crimes, but he was just doing that because the Democrat platform puts their people up to doing nasty stuff, like Leidy all the time. She's just doing nasty stuff, mean, nasty people. That's all they are. And well, that's okay. That's all right. I really have no problem with the Malikas, really, not too much. I don't think Julie Malika should be running for Adams County though, because they don't like Emmett Ayers Bromley. They really don't because they don't like Columbus Day. Emmett Ayers Bromley and Mother Cabrini created Columbus Day, and I saw the whole entire thing when you were changing it to Mother Cabrini Day, and well, Kyle Malika didn't know the story either. So you guys don't know the truth yourselves, and you're down on the state legislature, and you don't even read the history of what's going on there. Um, but that's okay. I can work with them and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot more fun because I think a third party candidate, such as myself, unaffiliated, is pretty much what the state legislator needs because I can work with both sides. I can tell when one's bullshit and the other one is probably just bullshit too. But but we'll come up with a good solution for problems and stuff like that. And if they work with me, they'll see that it's actually a good leadership and we can actually work together and stuff like that. And yeah, Mark Bromley for House District 34 for the state of Colorado. This is North Glen and East Lake. Pretty much that's the largest section down there, East Lake. I went to East Lake Elementary School when I was a kid, when I was 4 years old, and Cotton Creek Elementary. I went there too. But I went to Northland Junior High, Northland High School. Well, you guys heard the whole thing, and if you guys listen to this whole entire thing, this whole entire rant about this little thing here, then it's great. And yep, and that's right, and there it is, the whole entire thing. So now I'm unaffiliated. Don't worry, Emmett Ayers Bromley went unaffiliated too. So he was with the Republicans, he was with the Democrats, and it's not too uncommon to switch it up if the Republican Party becomes more decent, more respectful, and less dishonest. If they get rid of Winkler, Saramento, Underwood, and Rollison, then I am back then I might go back there because it's just those four really they work for a lady. They're really screwing up the whole entire party. Their candidates don't win because those four people that I mentioned are just awful. And they're like Leidy. She's awful. She's terrible people. Just terrible, nasty people. And it shows. It shows. They sit there and they brag and they boast what they did. And well, like Winkler, he boasts about his House District 34 stunt that they just put him in there. And he has one lousy bill, and it's the stupidest bill on the face of the planet. Nobody would sign on to that. That was so stupid. Why do you even try to push it? It was nonsense. And it's just funny. But I will be running against Jenny Wilford because there's these four people that went and tried to get this out-of-state lawyer who's trying to move into Colorado. Uh, they lied to him and spinning up their own stories, kind of like what this is off the Colorado media. And wow, that's about it. So I'm going to cut this part off because it's been pretty long. I know it's taken a moment, probably an hour or so. And yep, an hour and 14 minutes. Okay, there's my response to that. I'll give you the letter that I sent to Jane Reuters. I'm offended that she disrespected me being a veteran, but that's okay. Vote Mark Bromley, votebromley.com, and go there. And I need donations, endorsements, and volunteers. Let me know if you guys can help, and see you later. Hi there. I just had another retrospect before I actually read the letter that I sent to Jane Reuter for the Sentinel newspaper, Northglenn and Thornton. I went back and I saw that comment that lady was talking about tolerance, that she used the word tolerance in a negative way. As a matter of fact, what she really said was that she is intolerant of diversity. Let me explain how I understand tolerance. I was in Theta Chi fraternity over at Western University in Gunnison, Colorado, Gamma Epsilon chapter. I was the secretary of that fraternity. I was the third man on the totem pole. And in that fraternity, we learned three values that are part of a really long statement about Theta Chi. And it's about truth, temperance, and tolerance. Now, truth and tolerance is actually spoken about by Gordon B. Hinckley. He used truth and tolerance as a means for people of different beliefs, of different diversities, to accept one another for who they are and to be tolerant of diversity, not to get angry or upset. When Lady used tolerance in this article, what she said is that if she doesn't speak up and say something evil, she would be tolerating the diversity of the community. She is intolerant. That is racism. That is discrimination. That is hate that Lady is doing in the city of Northglenn. There are a lot of groups here in the state of Colorado that a lot of people would hate if given the chance. And that is what's wrong with the far left, the cults of the far left, the cults of the woke, is that they're being groomed for hate because they're being told to be intolerant. Twisting words. Twisting words. What did she actually say? Leidy said in her thing, what she actually really did say is truly evil. But what I really left with was that my silence is tolerance. So by saying something, she is intolerant. So she has to speak to be intolerant. Lady is a racist. She is discriminatory and she is hateful. She is not accepting diversity. She is rejecting it and hating people. In my fraternity of Theta Chi, we believe in truth, temperance, and tolerance. Tolerance means accepting others for who they are, understanding who they are, why they are, what they are, and being okay with it. Being okay, being accepting. Because we also had a song. You guys all heard it. It's we all need someone to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. You know that song? That's where truth, temperance, and tolerance really comes into play. These are cornerstones of American society. Truth, temperance, and tolerance. Not just my fraternity. And the fact that Lady doesn't know that she had in this article proven her racism, discrimination, and hatred of diversity makes her an unfit mayor. You know, in 6 months, you guys should actually be asking for her resignation because she doesn't accept any of you. If she's finding this George Floyd of North Glen something to get angry about, to hate, what does she do about you guys? All of you who are different. We're all different. We're all nervous. We're all afraid in this world. Will people accept us for who we are? Or will they just hurt us? What do you guys want to be? Hurters? Causing pain? Inflicting pain and suffering onto others? Or do you want to accept truth, temperance, and tolerance? Like I said, sometimes if you say nothing, there won't be nothing. Because there is really nothing to actually get upset about. A lot of really violent people are intolerant. And they think they have to say something and do something that ultimately hurts other people. And it's hard to actually accept the fact that truth, temperance, and tolerance are good values to have, especially in leadership. Because all the people that I've been in charge of, that I've been a leader of, they are wonderful people and they are from a wide range of backgrounds. They're very diverse people. I was the person that was usually picked to be the EEO, the Equal Employment Opportunity person, for my shop in the Navy, for my fraternity, for other jobs, Homeland Security. I was always doing things like that to try to teach people truth, temperance, and tolerance. And now I finally wanted, I finally saw that when I was putting this video together, and thought, yes, yes, I need to talk to people about tolerance, truth, temperance, and tolerance. Three of the good T's. That lady failed to understand. She fails to understand. Her and Brown both fail to understand. And this is the biggest problem with the toxicity on the city council. They're not truly accepting diversity. They're going through motions. They're giving lip service. They're paying $600,000 to buy it. But they really don't care. They really don't care about you or your diversity or your difference or how you affiliate and what terms and concepts and ideas you draw out of society to explain yourself to other people, to present that to other people, and to basically give the world a hug. Think about that. I know it's kind of weird. I'm actually saying all that kind of stuff, and you're like saying, "Wow, Mark, we didn't know you were such a nice person." It's like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I'm not this big bad soldier from the Navy. I can be. I mean, I was in the V2 division, so yeah, I can be, but I'm not. I'm actually a really nice guy. There's a reason why I had a huge pledge class over at Western University. It's because I'm just a really good person. I mean, the War of the Worlds rave, you should have seen it. We didn't have anybody showing up. We went out and we flyered a bunch of closing nightclubs, and that place was packed by the time we were done. Uh, yeah, it was a great night. We entertained most of the crowd playing F-Zero on the Nintendo system on the big giant screen that we had, and they enjoyed it because we had good music and well, good rave music, good techno music. It was fantastic, and yeah, it was awesome. And anyways, yeah, you just got the wrong mayor, guys. I'm sorry, North Glen, you got the wrong mayor, and wow, North Glen Sentinel, what's wrong with you? Fix yourselves. Learn some tolerance. Learn some truth. temperance and some tolerance. Go learn it. Accept diversity, people. Tell Lady to learn diversity and stop hating so much. There you go. That's something that we can do. Hi there, I'm back. I was going to add this to the video. I know it's making it incredibly long. Um, this is the letter I sent to Jane Reuter. I don't know why Jane Reuter made this article and did not consult with me or talk with me or even send an email. She knows I reply to her. She knows it's easy to communicate with me. Uh, so, yeah, I think her only reason for creating this article was to be defamatory and dishonest. And that's what I got from Colorado politics before, dishonesty and defamatory statements, because they decided to only interview Evan Underwood, who was backstabbing me, lying, cheating, stealing. You name it, that's what Underwood was. And here it is. This is the kind of garbage that I run into in politics here. Really, the most nastiest politics I've ever ran into. Now, here's the letter. I've titled it, I thought we established a rapport that you can email me anytime for articles you are posting. But she can. She can always go to votebromley@gmail.com and talk to me. I talk to everybody. Everybody knows that on Facebook. I just talk, and people know that, and it's good. And anyways, we're going to go down here and we're going to talk about this letter. Let's see what I put in it. This is what I sent Jane Reuter. As a representative running for House District 34, you are welcome to ask me questions about any article you wish to write about me. Unless you are bought and paid for by the Democrat hate machine of Northglenn City Council, I will be uploading a YouTube video on this issue of how I am very similar to George Floyd in the city of Northglenn. It's part of the reason I've been running against my oppressors and tyrants here in the city of Northglenn. For me, my problems with political nemesis started at Eastlake Elementary School when I was only 4 years old. I don't know if you know this, but I am by blood related to Emmett A. Bromley, who founded Adams County, that moved here about 140 years ago and is the founder of Adams County, Arapahoe County, and Denver via the state legislator. E. Bromley moved here about 140 years ago. To my knowledge, I'm the only Bromley since then to run for state legislator. You can see that my oppression and suppression started here in Colorado when I was only 4 years old, living in poverty, one of 5 children to a single divorced mother. I have had history suppressed and replaced with fiction. The Northglenn Library is no more because the current political nemesis wants to wreck and destroy the legacy of the Bromley name as created in Colorado, such as Columbus Day being removed as a state day of remembrance, a day that freed the Italian community from harsh and brutal working and living conditions in Colorado, a day created by Emmett Bromley and Mother Cabrini in the early 1900s. Adams County is named by Emmett Bromley. Such is the long history of Colorado and the political nemesis I face for over 50 years living in oppression and poverty and having had police violence aimed at me. I am like George Floyd. Many only want to make it an issue of hate or racism. I, however, see George Floyd, as a kindred spirit of the same oppression by the organized crime of political nemesis I have experienced in Northglenn, growing up since the age of 4. Me and George Floyd are like two peas in a pod, and likely would have been friends. Poverty was my life here in Colorado, from a forms of child slave labor in Colorado, part of my past. Attacks by police for no reason, out of nowhere, happened often. I was accosted many times for simply walking down the street in Northglenn. I was poor and subject to oppression by those of wealthy political nemesis, which still happens because of the current organized crime of the current mayor. The last time was in 2021, multiple times as I ran against Julie Malika. They, the Democrats, targeted my property and my yard signs. Before that, Mayor Downing, where the entire police force showed up to strip search me late at night in my pajamas, falsely accusing me of stabbing someone with a knife, a false accusation that never happened, and I was being illegally spied on by a police car for weeks before this happened. Fact is, there are many brutal experiences I have had at the hands of the Northglenn enforcement activities, and all of it had nothing to do with me. George Floyd grew up in poverty. So did I. George Floyd had worked security jobs. So did I. George Floyd has been accosted by police at the whims of bad city leadership. So have I. It's not about color of skin. It's about the condition of poverty in the USA that I and George Floyd have these problems with our local police nemesis of bad government. And we are brothers of the problems of poverty in our communities. It's about organized crime on city councils targeting those in poverty that they think they can abuse with the misuse of law enforcement. I began running for office before George Floyd's death happened, and I was running for office because of the same oppression that George Floyd was seeking to break free of. Lady is a petty, idiot, pathetic, and all she sees is color of skin. She is a racist. The reason her school doesn't meet math and reading standards is because she's racist. She refuses to believe in the equality of the mind and the equality of the soul, and that all humans are the same, human. This is why Lady is a bad educator and a terrible mayor, because she refuses to understand. She has no tolerance. She is intolerant of people. Tolerance means understanding and acceptance. There are charts of her Belmar school on the internet, and it was doing well until she became its principal, and then fell to the bottom third of schools in Colorado. If you notice, she made this about skin color. Lady is a racist. She doesn't know my past, and she doesn't know George Floyd's past. George Floyd's history is on the internet, and I studied what there was to tell about the man. Me and George Floyd are very similar and have very similar experiences. Only difference is I have a clean background and I don't use drugs. Jane Reuter, I would seriously ask you to talk to me more before posting things about me that are defamatory or disparaging. You might be wondering why the Democrats are trying to undermine the Bromley name of Adams County and the Bromley name at the state legislator office, because Emmett Bromley was known to be quite liberal, and this attack on his legacy and my future by the Democrats is evil by ignorance. Lady is a poor winner. She can't accept the win and move on without having to grief over something and be a Karen meme trope. Summer of 2024 is coming. I bet she's going to send out Northglenn enforcement to attack me again, like she did in 2021. If not her, it's going to be one of the Democrats in the city of Northglenn. You do know they stole my artwork and tried to distribute it at the October 2023 meeting, a clear act of copyright infringement. Mark Bromley for Colorado, House District 34. Bromley, Adams County, since 1877. Yes, Mark Bromley is running for Colorado House. And I do need your help to push back against bad government. There's a lot of terrible government out there, and I could use your help. I need donations. I need endorsements, and I need volunteers. Together we can win this. And me being Mark Bromley, a legacy of Adams County, uh, related by blood. Uh, I'm from the Connecticut Bromleys that came out of New York to Connecticut and Rhode Island, then came across the West. And Emmett Bromley, he came straight from New York out to Colorado. And it's been about 140 years since we've had a Bromley on the state legislature. So I strongly, highly encourage people to join me, join my team, and you'll see that it is a very rewarding experience, and it's a good deed, it's a good action, and it recreates a better Colorado. And hey, Emmett Ayers Bromley legacy lives on with me. We have a lot of people that are not good legislators. I mean, House District 34 has been plagued with bad legislators in the past. Lebstock was a bad legislator. Skinny Winkler was an even worse legislator. His one bill was really incredibly stupid. And then after that, you have to see that we've been plagued with this kind of problem. The best we've had in House District 34 is a person I ran against, Kyle Malika. Now, that was a good race. Me and Kyle Malika have talked a couple of times and things like that, and he's actually able to be spoken with. We can talk. We will work together at the state legislator office. And if we can work together, I'm pretty sure there's enough sensible people still down there in the state legislature that we can talk to and actually get good things done for our communities. Who am I running against? Well, Jenny Wilford. Jenny Wilford is not a very smart cookie. She is pretty much just a dog and pony show. And if you've seen her bills, most of them fall flat. Uh, the ones that do pass, it's because it's somebody else's bill. It's not hers. She's not right for the state legislature. She's not capable of doing anything better, but Mark Bromley can. And some of the things that she wants to push, Mark Bromley will do better at. And that's just what there is to say about that. And that's the clear choice right there. You can actually have a smart person such as Mark Bromley down at the state legislature, and this is making laws, people. So yes, voting for Mark Bromley for the state legislature is very important. Thanks for sticking with me through this whole entire piece. You guys are super troopers, and I look forward to your support, your help. Um, please do donate if you can. I do have a PayPal that's set up that you can actually use. Make sure to tell me your name, your job, and things like that when you send the mail. Otherwise, I'll have to send back mail to you and ask you those kind of questions to clarify. And go ahead and help out. I have all these things that I need to do here. Another Bromley at the state legislature in 140 years is a pretty good record for a legacy and traditional values, and to actually keep Colorado operating and running. You know, I've been looking at a lot of the legislation that Emmett Ayers Bromley actually was putting together. I know Dwayne Vandenbush, the president of the Colorado Historical Society, and with that, you know, that kind of equipment, that kind of tooling, I should be able to put together a lot of good policies for things like agriculture, farming, ranching, um, the future of Colorado, the very future of Colorado. Yeah, I'll still carry on where I'll just pick up the torch that Emmett Ayers Bromley left behind, and I'll just dust that off, light it back up, and guide a path forward for the state of Colorado. So vote Mark Bromley. Come on out and help me. I need some help in April, May, June, and July to get a petition circulated. I can do the work all myself if I have to, but it's really hard work. I would like a couple of volunteers if I could. 10 volunteers would be fine. 4 would be great too. And I can get this thing done. And I'll be the first unaffiliated candidate in a long time to get elected to office, and I'll be emulating Emmett Ayers Bromley. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being here, and you guys are great. So keep a positive day and have a happy day. Thank you.